I've got a bunch of files with this tapered type tang on them, and what I've been wanting for quite some time is a handle that would fit them tightly but could be interchangeable. And so that's what I'm about to build using a piece of copper pipe as a ferrule. I had this great piece of black walnut, and so I cut it on my table saw down to about a 2-inch square piece by about 6, maybe 7 inches in length. And here I am just getting it rounded over with my gouge, getting it down into a cylindrical shape. And then in order to make a ferrule for the handle, or the file end of the handle, I'm going to use a piece of scrap copper pipe. Copper, brass, either of those works great. I think copper polishes up really nice. Of course, the price is right. And so what I'm going to do now is turn a neck on the end of that piece of wood to fit tightly in the pipe. Something you have to do with copper pipe when you cut it with a pipe cutter, because it'll put quite a burr on the end of it. You've got to file that burr down so that your the pipe as it goes over the piece of wood will fit tightly. So here I am using a carbide tipped tool to just take that front end of this handle down to the diameter of the copper pipe. Using my parting tool now to get close to the diameter, and then to remove wood quickly and back to the gouge just to get it down to, somewhat close. And then I will use my calipers and keep checking that measurement and keep whittling away at this. I want it to fit really tight, so I want to sneak up on that diameter. I don't want to go too far and end up with a loose fitting copper ferrule that you would end up having to glue on, where this, if I do it right, I'll have to press it on, and it'll be just a very tight press fit. So I just continue to work on that, and now I'm shaping it using another carbide tool just to get a handle shape. I like a handle that has a big wide spot at the top to kind of brace your hand when you're pressing hard on a file or pressing hard on a chisel. It's nice to have this kind of a shape. This piece of walnut is a real pretty piece of wood. It's shaped super easily, quickly. I'm liking the way it's shaping. I'm liking the way it's turning. I keep working on that neck end of this thing to get that tight fit, and I just can't emphasize enough that I want to sneak up. So I take it off, try the pipe on, put it back on, take it off, try the pipe on. I wanted to have to really press that on tight, and what I ended up having to do is to literally pound it on using another piece of pipe up against it so that I didn't wreck the end. And then once it was on there tight, some 400 paper, then some 600 paper, and then pretty soon some polishing rouge, you can get that copper to just be really, really nice looking and shiny. And you won't need a rivet or a nail or anything to hold it in place if you get that super tight fit. So now I'm just working on the handle, sanding it, trying to get it a little closer to the right shape. This walnut sanded very nicely. It came down to a nice finish pretty quickly. And when I had the shape that I was happy with, here I am using just a vibrating sander with some fine paper on it just to get the last little bit of sanding marks off of it. I ended up rubbing on, I've got a mixture of beeswax and mineral oil that is sort of a thinner mixture to where you can put it on almost like a liquid. You can see how shiny it is. So I rub that deeply into the grain, and then I'm just polishing it back off using a paper towel. And I put another coat of wax on this later once I get it off of the lathe. Use my Japanese saw to just start that cut, finish the cut with the saw. Then I drilled out to the depth of the tang with a 3/16 inch drill, then marked the width of that tang, the V shape of that tang on the top, and then used a skinny 1/8 inch mortising chisel to literally mortise out a V-shaped notch or hole in the end of the handle to fit those V-shaped tangs tightly. I did a real quick drawing here in SketchUp just to tell you, just to maybe show a little better what I'm trying to chisel out. And this little 1/8 inch mortising chisel allowed you to get way down into that hole. So here's the handle hole, and then here's a cutaway of the handle, and I'm going to mortise out that shape. And it actually worked really well. I just slowly worked on it just like you would with a mortise, only slanting those sides so that you'll end up with a V-shaped opening. And tried the files in it over and over again until the file tang slid way down into the handle. And there it is, the finished job, the finished handle on some of my files. And yeah, I think this is going to be a very handy tool to have for the future. A simple file handle with copper pipe ferrule. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.